Hello again, welcome to the weekend recap on Rabona TV. My name's Adrian, and let's go through the top 4 leagues, and then we'll do a little tour around Europe as well, shall we? First off, English legend Jimmy Greaves, who played for Chelsea, AC Milan, Spurs, and many other teams, has passed away this weekend. An iconic player, especially for Spurs, as he is the all-time top scorer for the club and a World Cup winner, among many other records and honors, so rest in peace to him. Now, there was a lot to talk about with Manchester United and West Ham as they played out a very well-fought first half that saw them trade goals back and forth, West Ham coming from a massively deflected Benrahma strike, while Cristiano Ronaldo's incredible return to United continued as he took his tally up to 4 goals in 3 matches for the Red Devils. He won't get an assist for it, given Ronaldo converted his own rebound. But again, Bruno Fernandes with what would have been a fantastic assist there. Ronaldo thought he had won a penalty, but the referees are told to look at contact, consequence, and motivation when deciding upon a penalty call. And while Soufal did put his leg out, the referee deemed that Ronaldo initiated the contact and was looking for it. Not sure that I fully agree with this one, as Soufal stuck his leg out, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm learning new rules for guidelines for penalties every month. The changes are happening so quickly that it's hard to keep up. West Ham had a shout for a penalty as well. All I know is that any human with a heart will have liked seeing Jesse Lingard come onto the pitch and make up for it with a stunning winning goal for Manchester United. Fantastic character from him. Rodgers would have said. Another penalty shout as Zuma took out Ronaldo, but that wasn't given either. None of the ball. Ronaldo had him beat, but I guess the referee's judgment was that he didn't have a chance at recovering the ball, that Ronaldo would have played it out of bounds and had no chance of recovering it. So, I don't know. And what would have pissed off the United fans is that West Ham actually won a penalty at the other end from a Shaw handball, which was the right call. This is why referees need to do press conferences, though. Explain why the other incidents weren't penalties. Make it clear for us, so we can all learn. But De Gea was the hero as he saved it from Noble, who came onto the pitch to take the penalty. The man with a concerning penalty-saving record came out big. 2 on the final. Nice to see De Gea and Lingard as the heroes, no? 2 guys who received so much abuse end up winning it for United. After so much to unpack from that match, so much time spent there, let's move on to the other matches. Great to see Brighton finally getting the results they have deserved over the last couple of seasons under Potter. Another Potter masterclass in this one, at least to a certain extent, as Leicester were dominant in the latter third of this match, but as alluded to, they deserve to finally get these wins, and they have one of the best records in the league because of it. 4 wins and 1 loss now for Brighton. Arsenal got their second win on the trot as they overcame Burnley at Turf Moor thanks to a Martin Odegaard free kick. One of those free kicks where you can see exactly where to place it. The player executes perfectly, and it doesn't come as a surprise, They make it look so easy. 2 goals scored, 2 wins for Arsenal, picking up the points where they are expected to, which is all you can ask for of your side. Liverpool took on the Spurs killers, Crystal Palace, who are fresh off of their 3-0 win against Tottenham, of course. For Liverpool's part, they haven't lost a match yet this season. Fantastic start from them thus far, and that form reached the Champions League as well. This weekend, they brushed aside Patrick Vieira's Crystal Palace 3-0, their 4th clean sheet in 5 Premier League matches, but it started frantically as Crystal Palace nearly opened the scoring, if not for Alisson and then the post. But from there, Liverpool grew into the game, Mane converting from a Salah rebound. That's goals in consecutive matches, Sadio Mane. Salah would get his toward the end of the match as Van Dijk's header popped up to Salah at the back post for 2-0. Naby Keita killed things off further with a stunning volley at the end of it. He will have been relieved to get that one. His first goal for Liverpool in over a year. Last scoring towards the end of the 2019-20 season. We got car alarms and dogs barking outside. Great. Everton crashed back down to earth this weekend with a 3-0 loss away to Aston Villa thanks to a 9-minute blitz that saw Villa score 3 goals in the second half. Cash, an own goal from Luca Digne, and Leon Bailey scoring his first for Aston Villa. Manchester City thought they had defeated Southampton in second half stoppage time after Raheem Sterling had scored, but it was called back for offside. Sterling adjudged to have been ahead of the ball that Foden nodded into his path. 0-0 the final. Some controversy surrounding the penalty that Southampton thought they had, as Kyle Walker got across Armstrong's body and the legs got tangled. Not given though. Divided opinions big time there. Again, referees, throw a press conference, explain. Brentford got their first win since their opening day victory over Arsenal as they beat Wolves at Molineux 2-0. And finally, Chelsea's domination over Spurs continues even if Lukaku, the man in form, failed to score against them. His hold-up play in this match was incredible once again though. There's certainly his bogey team, however, with 1 goal versus Spurs in 13 attempts. But still, Chelsea were just far too powerful for Spurs in the second half. In the first, Spurs did well to keep them at bay and to isolate Lukaku. Not a single shot on target for Chelsea in that first half. The first time they failed to register one under Tuchel in the first half of a Premier League match. And in the second, man in the match Thiago Silva scoring from a corner, Kante getting a goal thanks to a healthy deflection, and finally Timo Werner cutting it back to Antonio Rudiger, his fellow German. Great finish from Rudiger. Incredible performance. Massive credit to Tuchel for turning things around at halftime, which led to Chelsea's domination in that second half. They looked poor in the first, excellent in the second. And with that win, Chelsea are top of the table after 5 matches alongside Liverpool, both with identical records, goals scored, conceded. Wild. United and Brighton make the top 4, while City are right at the door. That was an unintentional rhyme. Inter Milan absolutely slapped up Bologna this weekend in what was a great exhibition of Simone's vision for Inter going forward. That's Simone, not Simeone. They truly looked unplayable at times as Bologna struggled. We got to see Denzel Dumfries make his full debut, get an assist. Edin Dzeko came off of the bench for the injured Correa and scored a brace, one from an insane angle. Just look at this, man. He did score from here. Even Matías Vecino got in on the scoring. Again, a guy who I had forgotten even exists. Huge performance from Inter to bounce back from the disappointment against Real Madrid, in which they probably should have won that game if their finishing was on point at least. And this time, it was on point. Speaking of bouncing back, Atalanta finally ended their 3-match winless run with a 1-0 victory away to Salernitana. Again, not a very convincing performance from La Dea as they are looking a little streaky under Gasperini at the moment, but they do tend to improve around the winter mark of the season, or late fall, early winter. The talent is still there, of course, but things aren't quite clicking just yet, and this match against Salernitana would have been much closer than they wanted given the talent disparity here. So Torino made it 2 wins on the trot with a victory over Sassuolo. Sassuolo still trying to adjust to life under Dionisi following the departure of De Zerbi to Shakhtar, as you'll remember. This was one of those games where the 1-0 scoreline was hugely flattering to Sassuolo, as Torino could have and should have scored far more goals. Sanabria with a couple of huge misses. Prayet and Bracalo hit the woodwork. Sampdoria built off of last weekend's 2-2 draw with Inter with a 3-0 win over Empoli. Francesco Caputo grabbed a brace while Antonio Candreva provided the service for one and scored one himself later on. Caputo with his first 2 goals for his new club, and they came against one of his former clubs. He played for Empoli for a couple of seasons, scoring 42 goals in that time frame. Mourinho's Roma continued to entertain as they fell 3-2 away to Hellas Verona, a side who of course had just sacked Eusebio Di Francesco this past week after just 3 matches, and they certainly benefited from the new manager bounce, didn't they? Verona were fantastic, Ilic all over the pitch, Faraoni scoring my favorite goal of all time already with that ridiculous volley that banged straight down into the ground from the crossbar and end tasty. Volley, bar, ground, and into the roof of the net. Ridiculous goal. What a way to hand aside the 3-2 win. Roma, they basically reverted to just cross and pray towards the end of that one. It was a bit disappointing. Lazio looked to get their season back on track against Cagliari following their loss to AC Milan last week, and it all looks very promising. It's always great scoring right before the half to throw off the plans of the opposition manager, and Lazio did just that with Immobile and Milinkovic-Savic linking up. However, Mazzarri had the answer, and on the other side of halftime, in the 46th minute, Marin set up João Pedro to equalize, setting the stage for former Lazio player Keita Balde to put the visiting Cagliari ahead. Assist from João Pedro here, by the way. Solid match from him. In the end, however, Cataldi equalized, and you can't say they didn't deserve that. Completely outplayed Cagliari, but you could argue that Cagliari should have been about 2 or 3 goals up by halftime, if not for their own wasteful finishing. And Juventus versus Milan was really one to look forward to this weekend. And the goal that Morata scored after just 4 minutes was one to look back on and admire. A great run, a great chipped finish. Looked similar to Morata versus Bayern Munich from his first stint at the club. And as for the rest of the half, Juve were undoubtedly the better side as Allegri went with the 4-4-2 once again after having the success with it against Malmö, with Dybala and Morata playing well off of each other, La Gioia really excelling playing in this shape. But the AC Milan fight back was in flow in the second half, and with Tonali dropping a perfect ball onto the edge of the 6-yard box. He had another great performance. Ante Rebic was there to nod it past Szczesny. Major questions about the defending there from Juve, but well executed from AC Milan for their part. Juve looked so expansive in the first half, but they really took the foot off the gas in the second. 1-1 the final there. This is Juve's worst start to the season since the 1961-62 season. To find them, you got to go down to 18th, as they have 2 points from 4 matches, 8 points off of first. Inter are at the top alongside AC Milan, Roma, Napoli, and Fiorentina, all on 9 points each. After 3 consecutive losses to open their campaign, Hertha Berlin have won their second consecutive match as they beat newcomers Greuther Fürth 2-1 after going down a goal from a Gorta penalty. A couple of 0-0 matches between Arminia Bielefeld and Hoffenheim, and Mainz versus Freiburg, but Bayern Munich made up for the lack of goals in a big way. Playing against Bochum, you could confidently assume that they would win. But by this margin, 7-0? Wow, Bayern are really starting to click into gear under Julian Nagelsmann. That's 19 goals in their last 4 matches, or 31 in their last 5, if you count their 12-0 win in the Cup against amateur side Bremer SV. I think the most surprising thing about this 7-0 was probably the fact that Lewandowski only scored once, as this was Joshua Kimmich's day to shine. He grabbed a brace, Sané continues to improve as he got a goal, Gnabry got a goal, and Choupo-Moting once again, my friend, his second of the season in consecutive Bundesliga matches now. Augsburg overcame Borussia Mönchengladbach with a late-ish goal from none other than club hero Florian Niederlechner. He has scored the only goals for Augsburg so far this season. They've scored twice, he scored both of them. Bayer Leverkusen roll on with another solid result, bouncing back from their loss to Dortmund last weekend with a win away to Stuttgart. And you know, watching Leverkusen is very fun this season, as they consistently score a decent amount of goals. They are third in scoring behind Bayern, obviously, and just 2 behind Borussia Dortmund with 15 goals as things stand. They won 3-1 this weekend with the incredible Florian Wirtz amongst the goals again. He got a goal and an assist, and the 18-year-old, just turned 18 in May, has been involved in 7 goals from 4 appearances, 4 assists, and 3 goals. The young talent in the Bundesliga is just ridiculous at the moment. All the more impressive, Leverkusen were a man down starting in the 31st minute, and they still managed to win, despite being a man down. Borussia Dortmund hosted Union Berlin and grabbed a 4-2 victory against them, who also lost midweek in their Conference League debut against Slavia Praha. Erling Haaland got 2 goals as Dortmund allowed Union to take the score from 3-0 to 3-2, following goals from Max Kruse and Andreas Volksammer. But Haaland is an android whose AI is getting better and better all the time. His machine learning is getting better, and he scored a ludicrous goal in the 83rd minute to take it out of reach. 4-2 the final. Meunier really starting to contribute going forward as he got another assist. All is good there for now. Eintracht Frankfurt were oh so close to landing their first win of the season while simultaneously handing Wolfsburg their first loss of the Bundesliga season. But to their credit, Mark van Bommel's side found an equalizer in the 70th from their hero, Wout Weghorst. Great work from Kevin Mbabu to get the ball into the box in the first place. And from that rebound that followed, Weghorst converted from a tight angle, 1-1. So, that point ensures that Wolfsburg are still there or thereabouts at the very top, tied on points with Bayern now, but behind them thanks to scoring about a third of the goals that Bayern Munich has scored. Dortmund and Leverkusen are just behind, Mainz, Freiburg, and Köln, of all teams, all chasing. This was a weekend of many draws in Spain. First up, let's look to Atleti, as they were held against Athletic Club, an Athletic Club that has been in great form thus far this season. Hot-tempered affair, Atleti players picking up yellows all over the place, 6 in total, and a red for João Felix after he decided to argue with the referee following a foul that he was booked for. I do feel for him a bit. Things just aren't going well in the slightest. He's spiraling a bit. And if they continue like this, I hope they'll loan him away to get some of his confidence back. Very even match though, and I don't bring it up often, but they had a near identical XG at 1.11 and 1.10, so there's that. Sevilla and Real Sociedad was another big matchup, and that one also ended in 0-0. Villarreal, after their great performance against Atalanta in the Champions League, in which they probably should have won that game, they got yet another draw in La Liga away to Mallorca. They really should have won this one also, but such is the story for Emery in La Liga. His team's finishing is far too streaky and they can't get results over the line. That's 4 draws from 4 matches now. Sevilla are still undefeated also with 2 wins and 2 draws. We also had Real Betis and Espanyol pay out a 2-2 draw thanks to a late equalizer from Espanyol's Leandro Cabrera. Prior to that, in the first half, Hector Bellerin got his first assist for Betis in setting up Nabil Fekir. That put Betis 2-1 up at that point. No Barcelona to speak of for the second consecutive weekend recap as they played today against Granada. And finally, Real Madrid had a very difficult match away to the high-flying, Bordalás-driven Valencia, and they struggled to generate much in the first half as Valencia were dominant in the midfield, getting the better of Casemiro, Modric, and Valverde, while they picked their moments while going forward, and Guedes and Musa, who came on for the Inter Soler, looked dangerous whenever they were on the ball. Now, Valencia took the lead in the 66th minute, but at the end of it, with Camavinga coming on and injecting some energy in the midfield, with Rodrigo doing the same, it was who else but Vinicius to get Real Madrid back in this game. In fact, not only did he score the equalizer, which had a healthy deflection to help it, but played an inch-perfect cross into the box as well that Benzema converted with his head. They set each other up. Quite the 1-2, those two. The ball in, split the defenders, drew the keeper out to no man's land, it was a perfect ball, man. He turned the game on its head, and I'll have a video on Vinicius coming out soon. So with that win, Real Madrid are top of the table by 2 points. Atleti, Valencia, and Real Sociedad not far off. Alright, let's tour a bit, shall we? We'll start in the Eredivisie, where Ajax's domination continues, as does their free-scoring attitude, as, they had trounced Sporting 5-1 midweek. They improved on that score, if you'll believe it, by beating SC Camber 9-0 this weekend. 9! SC Camber had a respectable 2 wins and 2 losses coming into this, and that was just crumpled up and torched by this result. Just a ridiculous score, man. 9-0! What made it even better for them was PSV's heavy defeat at home against Feyenoord. Feyenoord hit them for 4-0 against PSV to take them within 4 points of the top spot. Heerenveen stayed within touching distance as well with their victory over Fortuna Sittard. And Willem II are amongst the top guys also after they beat FC Groningen 2-1. In Portugal, Benfica hasn't played yet. They play today against Boa Vista, while Braga also play today against Tondela. But FC Porto got a massive 5-0 win at home against Moreirense to put them right back on track after last week's draw with Sporting. Mehdi Taremi and Luis Diaz continue to excel and continue to score for Porto. They each got a brace, and Pepe with the 5th. Not that Pepe, this one. Speaking of, Sporting played on Sunday against one of the top teams after 5 rounds, Estoril. The first goal in this one came from the spot, and as my man Benfica de Prechak pointed out, hard to tell who was taking this penalty. Not sure why it wasn't retaken. It's ridiculous. But anyway, Sporting got the win, so they move above Estoril into 3rd, Benfica in 1st, and Porto in 2nd. And finally, in Liga, Monaco continue to stink it up, man. Granted, they were playing away to Nice, who are in supreme form at the moment under Gaultier, so glass half full, a 2-2 draw away to Nice isn't the worst result, but up against their form so far this season, they're still sitting on just 1 win from 6 matches. Speaking of bad form, Lille lost once again. Their title defense is off to a terrible start as they lost 1-0 at Lens, who are also in solid form, to be fair. But Lille's record of 1 win, 2 draws, and 3 losses, it's identical to AS Monaco's. That's worrying. Marseille, on the other hand, continue to excel under Sampaoli as they won 2-0 against Stade Rennais. Amadou Bamba Dieng continued his great form with another goal following from his brace last weekend, as he is making the most of the recent opportunities that Sampaoli has handed to him. He used to be a bench boy. And the big match of the weekend was, of course, Lyon versus PSG, a supremely frustrating match. If you are a PSG supporter, those were my halftime thoughts as the front 4 started for PSG. Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and Di Maria. But Lyon were quick to hit them on the counter and looked dangerous in doing so. That will be the issue for Pochettino all season long, getting the balance right. And right after the half, it was absolutely a problem for them, as a curling diagonal ball played in behind the defender sprung Paqueta, and his first time finish at the near post managed to just squeeze past Donnarumma. Neymar had a bit of a quiet game for the most part, but he managed to win a penalty, somehow, for his side in the 62nd minute, and he rolled it past Lopes in goal to tie it up. Always funny when you see a player try to tell the keeper which way to dive, as Paqueta was doing to Anthony Lopes, and then the penalty taker puts it the other way. It didn't look like a penalty in my opinion, but anyway, we'll have to wait further for Messi's first PSG goal as he was taken off for Hakimi after 75 minutes, and he wasn't happy about it, was he? He did hit a crazy free kick that went off the bar though. But it was the right move from Pochettino as in the end, it was Mauro Icardi who was the hero for PSG as Mbappe hung the ball up at the back post and the substitute Icardi made no mistake, nodding it down and winning the match for PSG. A victory, but not the easiest. Lyon were a difficult opposition once again for this Galactical side, just getting through by the skin of their teeth, but hey, 6 matches, 6 wins. PSG are top of the table with some room to breathe, as you can see here. And we're done. That's it, folks. As I mentioned, I'll have a video on Vinicius coming out soon, so watch out for that amongst other videos this week. I thank you for joining me. My name's Adrian, and have a great Monday. Ciao.